All right. Wasn't 100% sure I was going to do a second episode, but after listening to the album I listened to, I had to do it because I'd actually forgotten how much meaning that this album actually had for me. Um, First one I did, Cold 13 Ways to Bleed on Stage. Decided to do something a little more well known this time. So, Talking Notes, episode 2. This one did an album that has a lot more meaning to it. Did Tool 10,000 Days. One of my absolute favorite albums. I love it. It is not my favorite Tool album. My favorite Tool album is still Lyrical, but this one is a very close second and contains one of the only songs to ever actually make me cry. Yeah, that's actually real. That's not. I'm not joking on that. 10,000 Days was released in 2006. I actually remember the day it was released because I was hanging out with my friend Wes. That day just happened to be the day that we were going to a Stained concert. Big Stained fan as well. And we decided we were going to hang out all day. We were going to wake up early, go pick up the new Tool album, listen to it, go to the Stained concert, listen to the new Tool album again. Just have a good hangout day. And we did exactly that. We woke up early and we went straight to Best Buy. We both bought a copy of Tool 10,000 Days. It had the weird packaging that unfolded and it had the glasses in it so the things would be in 3D. The pictures that came in it were it's very very cool. Had a lot of really neat art in it stuff. But we listened to it the first time and I remember it because we were just both like, man, that's a really weird album, and we actually didn't really like it. We were like, it's a very strange album. There's several songs that are just instrumentals, and there's one song that's just a tribal song. But over time, we both grew to love the album, especially whenever you actually listen to the lyrical content. And that's what this podcast is really about. I did get some comments too from people like, oh, why don't you talk more about the music, the drumming, the guitars, and stuff like that. It's like, I play the guitar and stuff, and that's fine. But I wanted to do a podcast on lyrical content and the meaning behind songs and stuff like that. But this one had a ton of meaning behind it. One song in particular. Actually, it's actually two songs, but so this album debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts, and it sold very quickly and went platinum very quickly. It's a very popular album. 10,000 Days can refer to the 29 and a half years it takes for Saturn to orbit, but there's also a meaning behind it where Maynard James Keenan, the lead singer of Tool, as well as Perfect Circle and Pussifer, his mother had a brain aneurysm and it shut down half of her body for years. She was an invalid. She was actually in a coma for a long time. And from the day she had the aneurysm to the day she unfortunately passed was about 29 and a half years. And 29 and a half years is roughly 10,000 days. I think it's a little more than 10,000 days, but it's still, the point is there. So this album is an extremely passionate, emotional album. Tool has even made the joke that it is their blues album because it's just so dark and the lyrical content is it's really dark. It's a dark album. It's a great album though. I highly recommend it. In fact, I usually choose 3 or 4 tracks, and this one I had to choose 5 tracks to really be like, yo, these are the ones you gotta listen to. But so we start out with a song that was actually leaked about a month before the album came out. It was one of the first ever leaked Tool songs. Tool's really guarded about that stuff, so they actually had one that got leaked. Kind of weird. It was called Vicarius. And when that song came out, I mean, it had been years since Lateralis. So this is a brand new Tool song, and people heard this, and it's like, holy shit, the Tool is back. And it is a very Tool-esque song. This album has a absolute ton of time signature changes and weird time signatures. For those who don't know what that means, it's basically, every song has just basically a beat to it, just like, nah, 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 nah. And they're all normal beats, just that there's ta, 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 that it's normal stuff. Tool doesn't do that. Tool they do very strange time signature, very weird. But Vicarius was this is a very Tool album because not a lot of songs that are short. This is Vicarius started out 7 minutes and 6 seconds long. Very awesome song, from the opening lick to just all of it. It's the riffs are amazing in this. The song is actually about humans and their obsession with violence and the obsession of watching it on TV, and how we like to all pretend that we're all, no, I don't like that kind of stuff, but in reality we love watching it. I mean, it's very, this one, not very many Tool songs are obvious in what they're about. This one is blatant. I mean, I actually have the lyrics in front of me again because I come prepared. Like the chorus itself is, because I need to watch things die from a distance. Vicariously I live while the whole world dies. You all need to, don't lie. That's that's a very specific thing to talk about, but it does, a lot of the song is, we won't give pause till the blood is flowing, and it's yeah. The bridge, blood like rain come down, drum on grave and ground. Wow. And of course he says, much better you than I, or vicariously I live while the whole world dies, much better you than I. This is a very heavy song too. And it's, I mean, it is very Tool-esque, and I love the way he writes. I love the way Maynard and the rest of them write their songs. Usually the songs have a lot more metaphor to them, and this one is just flat out, humans like violence, and you need to just admit it. It's just what we are. I mean, part vampire, part warrior, carnivore, voyeur, stare at the transmittal, sing to the death rattle. Like, yeah, it's very, the lyrics are there. You can read this and you know exactly what it is about. I mean, I think there's a, see if I can't see it. Credulous at best, your desire to believe in angels in the hearts of men. I mean, we want to believe that we're all good people, but there's more. Pull your head out your hippie haze and give a listen. Shouldn't have to say it all again. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, no, we're there. There's good people, but pull your head out your ass. There's not that many good people. So it's a very dark, negative song, but I really enjoy it. And 7 minutes goes by very fast with this song. So it is actually one of the songs that I have to say this is a must listen on this album. Very cool. The next one has one of the coolest opening riffs. It's called Zombie. 7 minutes and 28 seconds on this. It has that very awesome open, that dun 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 dun. Very cool. But this one is also a little harder to read. It's harder to decipher what it's about. So, I mean, I did a little research on it, and I say the first thing that pops in my head when I hear Zombie is Pee-wee's Genie. It was like, Pee-wee's Genie's name was Zombie. It was like, but no, he didn't write a song about. He did. Apparently, Maynard wrote a song about a genie granting wishes, and he did it because he saw Zombie, and that to me is hilarious. But this song is very heavy, very awesome. I love it, and it's like I said, it's really hard to read. It's hard to understand, but it sounds like a someone who would he has a great life, but would wish it all away just for normalcy, or something else. Because there's a lot of wish it all away. It's there is a thing that says, "So if I could, I'd wish it all away. If I thought tomorrow would take you away, you're my peace of mind, my home, my center. I'm just trying to hold on one more day. Damn my eyes, if they could compromise our fulcrum. Once in needs divide me, then I might as well be gone." Like, all right, so he clearly, wants normalcy. So it's not. This is not one of those songs that is, for me at least, be for one of the songs I like for lyrical content. This is more of a, I like the riffs, the drums, I like stuff like that. The bass in it. I'm in this one for the music. This is a good one. It is not one that I chose that is a must listen on this album. It is a good song. Do not take that as, nah, you can go ahead and skip this. Don't. There's not really many songs you can skip on this album. So, but as a matter of fact, there's none. I mean, unless you want to skip the instrumentals. But John B. I love the song. It is very hard to decipher what it's about, so I won't spend too much time on it. And mainly because I really want to get to the next two songs. Because the next two songs are Wings for Marie Part 1 and 2. These are the songs that Part 2 made me cry. It's a very, very sad song. And the reason why is because I very much relate to these two songs. My mother died roughly 2.5 years ago. She was always sick, much like Maynard's mom. My mom wasn't an invalid. She wasn't in a coma, nothing like that. She was just sick. The doctor was always like, "Oh, she's sick," but the doctor never said she was dying. So I woke up one day and she was gone. She did die in her sleep peacefully. Cool. Not cool, but you know what I mean. But a lot of these two songs are about how she was in so much pain and now she's gone and she doesn't have to live through that pain anymore, and that means a lot to me. That really speaks to me. Wings for Marie is basically, Marie is his mother. Judith Marie was her name. And she, this is basically about her life and her death and her devotion to Christianity. Judith Marie was a very devout Christian. He sings about her a lot. The song Judith by A Perfect Circle is about her. It's about how her devotion to the Christian faith, he can't understand it because he basically blames God because she's an invalid. And he's like, the opening line for Judith is, "You're such an inspiration for the ways that I will never ever choose to be." And it's a very dark song, and these songs are dark to say the least. But with Wings for Marie Part 1, it's more about Judith. So it's a very slow build. It does have a heavy piece at the end, and there's a lot more sounds in this one. It's more just very inventive sounds. It's guitar and stuff like that. But so he has basically the whole thing is just her. The one of the first lines, "A passionate spirit, uncompromised, boundless and open, a light in your eyes, then immobilized." So she's happy spirit, light in her eyes. She's an invalid. All of a sudden, boom, she's an invalid. And it's also a lot about how good of a person she was. Vacant, broken, fell at the hands of those moments we wouldn't see, because it was you who prayed for me. So what have I done to be a son to an angel? What have I done to be worthy? So she's a very good person. He loves his mother very much, and he doesn't know what he's done to be so worthy of such a good person, to be his mother, which is absolutely beautiful. Let's see here. I did that, yeah, but it's got the heavy piece at the end, or near the end, and then it breaks down to basically, try to put it lightly, a almost like a Y, a Y thing. Daylight dims, leaving cold fluorescence. Difficult to see you in this light, like difficult to see you in a coma, difficult to see you invalid. Please forgive this selfish question, but what am I to say to these ghouls tonight? It's sadness. She never told a lie, well, might have told a lie, but never lived one. Didn't have a life, but surely saved one. Yeah. And then the final line and before the song stops and bleeds into part 2 is, see, I'm all right now. It's time for us to let you go. So they're letting her go. She's going to die, which is sad again. And that actually bleeds straight into 10,000 Days, Wings for Marie Part 2, which is 11 minutes and 13 seconds long. The first Wings for Marie is 6 minutes and 11. So combined, we have 17 minutes and 24 seconds for this song. Very long. Very awesome, though. 10,000 Days is actually the song that I choose to be the must listen to for this album. It is my favorite song on the album. Might not be other people's favorites. Other people's might like Vicarius or The Pot. The Pot was very popular. But this one just speaks to me more. It's a really, really great song. It's a very sad song, though. It's another slower with a heavy build. This one is about his mother, but it's also about how the church congregation kind of abandoned her in her time of need. He actually does talk about it a little bit in his autobiography about when she was in her time of need. No one from the church really showed up. They didn't really help her out. I'm sure there were some in there that did, but for the most part, the ones that said they were so devoted to her, never showed up. So it's super sad. In fact, he does have a complete line in there about them. Ignorant siblings in the congregation, siblings, the brothers and sisters, ignorant siblings in the congregation gather around spewing sympathy, spare me. Yeah. None of them can even hold a candle up to you. Blinded by choice, these hypocrites won't see. But enough, he calls them the collective Judas. But enough about the collective Judas, who deny you were the one to illuminate your little piece of the divine. So he calls them the collective Judas. That's, for a Christian, that is horrible. Calling someone Judas, because Judas was the one who betrayed Jesus. It's, like I said, it's a very sad song, and there's a lot of sad stuff in here. He had, but the point that made me really, there is one point that made me kind of cry on this one. The first time I heard, well, not the first time I heard it, it was more the first time I heard it when I was actually hearing the lyrics. So let's see if we can get it. Let's see. All right. So, like I said, this woman, from the moment she had her aneurysm to the moment she passed away, was an invalid. She couldn't use half her body. She was in a coma for years, and this was 10,000 days. 10,000. So, basically, it goes, high is the way, but our eyes are upon the ground. You were the light in the way they'll only read about. I only pray heaven knows when to lift you out. 10,000 days in the fire is long enough. You're going home. So 10,000 days in hell is long enough. You're finally going to get to go home, which is horribly sad. But at the same time, it's also a happy moment because she's no longer in pain. But it does have another line talking about how strong his mother is. It's, you're the only one who could hold your head up high, shake your fist at the gate saying, I've come home now. Fetch me the Spirit, the Son, and the Father. Tell them their pillar of faith has ascended. It's time now, my time now. Give me my wings. It's basically, she's like, so strong that she would go up to God himself and say, all right, I'm here. I've done your bidding. Now give me my wings. Which, that part kind of, it makes me laugh because it is awesome. So, but basically the whole song is her death and how she's a strong woman and everything. It's a great song. I love it. It's very slow, very long, and there's a lot of thunder and stuff in the background. It's a very cool kind of environment, but it's my favorite song on the album. So dope song. Next was probably after that is probably I want to say it's probably the most popular song from the album. It's 6 minutes and 21 seconds, called "The Pot." It's the one that has Maynard with his he's got a high voice singing. Who are you to wave your finger? You must have been out your head. And this song is about drug users and the people who condemn them. Basically saying there's really no difference between the two. You condemn these drug users, but you're no better. And this song is steeped in metaphor. There is a ton of metaphors here. I hold deep in muddy waters. Muddy waters can easily refer to heroin. When it's in a spoon, it looks like muddy waters. Eye hole, you have to hold it up to your eye to see. Then it's I hold deep in muddy waters. You pissed all over my black kettle. You're the pot calling the kettle black. Soapbox, house of cards and glass, so don't go tossing your stones around. Basically, you're standing on your soapbox made of house of cards and glass, and you're throwing stones. It's like, don't throw stones, don't judge. There's another one, liar, lawyer, mirror, show me what's the difference. So lawyers are liars. And this whole freaking song is just about how a lot of times the pot users, because Maynard is a known marijuana advocate, and like a lot of times pot users are thrown under the bus and treated horribly, and it's not exactly a drug that's necessarily dangerous. I myself do not partake in the devil's lettuce, but that doesn't mean I condemn it. So this album, lots of kangaroo court references. Kangaroo done hung the jury. Kangaroo be stoned. It's a very good song. It's one of the songs that I chose as a must listen because there's a reason why it's the most popular, and it's got a great bass line. It's got great lyrics, and it's Maynard showing off what he can do with his singing. He's a wonderful singer. So The Pot, excellent. A lot of metaphors. You have to listen to it for yourself, because once you decipher all of it, you understand it is about drug use. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, depending on the drug. So the next song is a brisk 1:11 seconds long. It is called Lipin Conjuring, and it has no lyrics. It is a instrumental with some chanting. It's very tribal, lots of cymbals, basically tambourines, and it has some tribal chanting. Yeah, it's actually a very cool song. I wouldn't skip it. I'd listen to it. But after that, don't want to spend a whole lot of time on something that doesn't have lyrics. The next one doesn't have lyrics either. It's kind of an instrumental. But it is a intro, a precursor to the next song, just like Wings for Marie 1 was to Wings for Marie 2. And this one's called Lost Keys, parentheses, Blame Hoffman. If you don't know who Hoffman is the inventor of acid. And that is what this song is about. So the intro is just a very slow, basically one chord, 3-string, and it's just very and it has a lot of stuff in the background, and you hear a nurse and a doctor talking. The doctor, excuse me, doctor, do you have a moment? Yes. And they're talking about a patient that they know nothing about. They don't have ID on him. They don't know what's wrong with him. He's not physically harmed. It's actually kind of creepy the way they're talking about it. And at the very end, right before the next song starts, it's the doctor sitting down. Hello, my name is Dr. Watson. How are you today? And then the guy's not talking. He's like, hey, listen, I can't help you unless you tell me what's going on. He said, what happened? Tell me everything. The guitar rises, and we get straight into the next song. The Lost Keys is 3 minutes and 46 seconds. This next song, Rosetta Stoned, 11 minutes and 11 seconds long, and we get straight into it, and it is the most drug-addled song. I mean, this is the perfect example of drug shit. Like, because Maynard sings this, so he actually talks his way through it for a lot of it, but he sings a lot of it, and it is the most batshit crazy thing you'll ever hear. And I love this song. It's one I chose for a must listen. This acid trip describes an alien, and not an alien invasion, but an alien abduction. He talks a lot about the X-Files, a blue-green Jackie Chan. It actually says blue-green Jackie Chan. X-Files. L. Ron Hubbard is mentioned. It's you can kind of not really understand what he's saying because he's saying it so fast, but if you really listen to it, yeah, dude, this is some... Okay, so the first time he actually sings and stops talking, it says, "So light is in his way like an apparition. He had me crying out, 'Fuck me, it's gotta be deadhead chemistry. The blotter got right on top of me, got me seeing E motherfucking T.'" Sorry. It's so great. But he talks a lot about E.T. He has a line in the second verse where E.T. revealed to me the singular purpose. He said, "You are the chosen one who will deliver the message, a message of hope to those who choose to hear it, and a warning for those who do not. Me, the chosen one. They chose me, and I didn't even graduate from fucking high school." I'm sorry, I'm laughing so much. This song is so wonderful. It is the most. It's so drug addled. I swear Maynard had to have taken acid while he was writing this. He does have another drug addled verse. "Then he looked right through me with somniferous almond eyes. Don't even know what that means. Must remember to write it down. This is so real. Like the time Dave floated away. See, my heart is pounding because this shit never happens to me." There's another. "Can't breathe right now. It was so real, like I woke up in Wonderland. All sort of terrifying. I don't want to be all alone when I tell this story. And can anyone tell me why you all sound like Peanuts parents?" This is the wah 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 wah. "Will I ever be coming down? This is so real. Finally, it's my lucky day. See, my heart is racing because this shit never happens to me." And this is the most drug-addled thing. This is insane. He does have a thing that I actually wanted to get this tattooed on me, this next line, because it's wonderful. So, it's "Overwhelmed as one would be when placed in my position. Such a heavy burden now to be the one born to bear and bring you all the details of our ending, to write it down for all the world to see. But I forgot my pen. Shit the bed again. It's typical." Yeah, I like this one. This is a dope song. But the rest of it's very just it does have the guitars and it does have a heavy sound to it. It's just the lyrical content of this one is fantastic. If they were ever gonna do a song that made sense, but told a story, but had to be about drugs, this is it. Tool did a wonderful job on this. They do a wonderful job most of the time. So this is definitely one that you definitely want to listen to. It's fantastic. I love this. But that leads to the next one, which is called Intention. 7 minutes and 21 seconds. I could sleep to it. It's very slow and just great. It has very repeating lyrics. So it's just pure as we begin, pure as we come in, pure as we begin, ruled by will alone. Basically, it's kind of like about how we're driven by instinct and we have free will and all that. This could even be considered a lead into the next song. But I think this was it's just so slow, and I could definitely sleep to this. It does have something at the beginning where you hear backwards singing in the background, and if I actually turn that around and listen to it, just kind of I forgot what it was called. I was trying to think of the app I used to play it backwards, but I played it backwards. And what it says is, work hard, stay in school, listen to your mother. Your father is right. Jesus loves you. Cool. It's a weird song. It's not one that I chose that you have to listen to, but it's still pretty good. I liked it. Like I said, I could sleep to it. Very just slow. All right. But that leads me to one that I did say you should listen to because it is one of my favorite songs by Tool. It's called Right Into. 8 minutes, 55 seconds. It's, when you listen to it, you could even look at this as it's biblical because it has a lot of stuff about Genesis in it, but there's more than that. Basically, it's about humanity, about how we were given free will and we were given choice, and we abuse it, and we don't use it for what we should. It's a very very meaningful song. So I mean, I could pretty much just recite this entire thing, but such as don't these talking monkeys know that Eden has enough to go around? Plenty in this holy garden. Silly monkeys, where there's one, they're bound to divide it right in two. It's about how the angels just watch us. Angels on the sidelines, baffled and confused. Father bless them all with reason, and this is what they choose. Yeah, monkey killing monkey over pieces of the ground. So we kill each other over land. So monkey killing monkey over pieces of the ground. Silly monkey, give them thumbs. They forge a blade, and where there's one to bound to divide it right in two. It's basically that we always fight. There was one from Genesis. Silly monkeys, give them thumbs. They make a club and beat their brother down. Those religious people don't know what that is. It's just, repugnant is a creature who would squander the ability to lift an eye to heaven, conscious of its fleeting time here. So we don't have a lot of time on earth, and we spend it all squandering it by fighting. We just fight and argue. So we waste the gift of our life, which very powerful. They have fight till they die, over wind, over sky. They fight over life, over prayer, over air and light, over love, over sun, over another. They fight though they die over words polarizing. Angels on the sideline again, benched along with patience and reason. Angels on the sideline again, wondering when this tug of war will end. So we fight constantly, basically. Humanity, that's all we ever do. We fight and argue, and we're wasting our lives doing that. And this is a very powerful song in that. And it's also very heavy and awesome. I love heavy songs. I'm a heavy metal guy. But that is actually the last song on the album. There is one more track called, I'm sorry if I butcher this to people who actually can speak Latin. It's Vicarius Trace. Sorry, I'm not really versed in Latin, but it does mean 23. I'm not saying what it says because it is in Latin, but the English translation is one infinity. The horror begins in autumn. This is your trial, which tries your power, might, ability. 23 steps to total power. I, for one, cannot exactly tell you what that means. I do know that the number 23 has a lot of meaning to a lot of people. A lot of cults over the number 23. It's supposed to be like the number. But that ends the album. And apparently there's a thing you can do here. I have not done it yet. But if you listens to Wing Swimmer Part 1, and then listen to the Vicarius Trace song right after, if you combine the two songs and then listen to those songs on top of 10,000 Days Wing Swimmer Part 2, it lines up and creates like some kind of special song. I've never done it, so I wouldn't know if that's true. I know that Adam Jones said that it is not true. If that does happen, that is complete coincidence. He said do not read that far into it, but we'll never know because Tool are some weird people. So, but that is all of 10,000 Days from 2006. Great album. I recommend Vicarius, 10,000 Days, Wings for Marie Part 2, The Pot, Rosetta Stone, and Ride In 2. That is your 5 tracks that are must listens. And 10,000 Days, Wings for Marie Part 2 is my favorite song on this album. I do love Rosetta Stone as well, and Ride In 2. But Wings for Marie Part 2 was the one that got me. So, if I do another one, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm sure I'll think of some album to do. I mean, I listened to Deftones' Koino Yokan, and I actually took notes on it, but I never did it because Cold kind of seeped in, and then Tool did. But we'll see. But anyway, I'm Darren. This is Talking Notes. Thank you.